the store. Now we'll take a look at the stored procedure, how we can create a stored procedure in the SQL Server. So first of all, from a layman point of view, what is a stored procedure? It's something like a ready mix. Ready mix. You want to prepare something. Like literally, you want to prepare some breakfast, but you don't have to time to buy vegetables. You don't have time to cut it. You don't want to mix it, right? You don't have time. So instead, what you do is you go and buy some ready mix in the form of powder in a packet in a shop, and you bring it home and then you can use it. So buy it once and you can use it as many times as possible based on the number of members in your family, right? So the same analogies, the same principle is applicable in the case of stored procedure. Create once and use it as many times as you want it. Okay, so in the case of any RDBMS system, okay, the stored procedure is not specific to SQL Server. You can use it in any RDBMS system. It is a pre-compiled collection of SQL statements. Even in this case, right, you have a group of SQL statements. It's a group of SQL, you give some name to that and store in a database, okay? You can use the stored procedure to perform any complex data processing, pre-processing task. Let's say you want to validate the data or data transformation. Let's say you want to combine multiple tables and you want to perform aggregation and then load the data in another table, or data manipulation. Everything is possible with stored procedure. So what are the, so it's a pre-compiled and pre-optimized piece of code. So in this way, it saves your time. Okay, in this way, right? Since it is pre-compiled, what is pre-compiled? Your script will be compiled, pre-compiled, and then pre-optimized for the piece of code that you use it in your stored procedure. So it can be executed repeatedly by calling the stored procedure. That's what I said. You can use it, create once, and use it as many times as possible. Create once and use it as many times as possible. In the case of college, right, the syllabus has been very clear, and they have already printed the books. So you can go and buy the book anywhere from any shop. The syllabus is common, and you can buy anywhere. But the copies are available, but the syllabus is same, right? So you can create once and use it as many times as possible. The advantage of this one is reusability. Okay, in the case of, this is another important point. You need to remember it. So once you create a stored procedure, it will get stored in your database. Okay, it will get stored in your database. Okay, now the question is, what is the advantage of stored? Like I said, you can call it as many times as you want it. You can use it as many times as you want it. Create it once and you reusability. Okay, and security. Another reason is security. So you can only those people granted these specific permissions, or right, so they can execute the stored procedure. Okay, and also performance. Since this the piece of code in your stored procedure pre-compiled, it can improve your query performance. In this case, it need not to, if you don't have stored procedure and you want to execute 10 set of statements like update, insert, other 10 updates, another 10 update, inserts. So in this case, every time it has to compile your, as part of compilation, what it does, it checks whether you have any syntax error, right? In semantics error, everything, checks everything. And in case of any error, it throws an error, okay? And syntax error, anything, right? So this will not, you will not have any these kind of issues. It need not to compare it again and again to check, to parse your script, right? Once it compiles, hey, syntax, everything is correct. You can, so it saves your time, okay? It will not consume memory, okay? It sends it will improve the query performance. And then modularity, this is very, very important. You can break down your complex tasks into smaller or more manageable chunks, smaller pieces, right? So you can make your code much easier to write, understand, and maintain. So in that kind of situation, the same thing is applicable with stored function also, modularity, to have the modularity. Okay, for example, you want to calculate the gross salary, and you have another, as part of the stored procedure itself, you have another piece of code that will compute your deductions, and you have another thing, right? Set of piece of code that computes your gross salary and the net salary right? So there will be some kind of modularity. Okay, if you want to make changes to your net salary, you can go to that specific piece of code and make a changes there. That's all. Okay. So what is the syntax for the stored procedure? Create procedure name, followed by that, you need to specify the parameter name. The parameter name should be prefixed with @ symbol. Okay. And followed by the parameter name, you need to specify the data type. And also you can assign the default value here itself. It is optional. Either you can assign a value, here itself to your parameter, or while calling this procedure, you can pass the value. Even this parameter itself an optional thing here. Okay, the parameter itself, it's an optional thing. Okay, either you can specify the parameter or you don't have to specify the parameter also. Okay. And next one is the as. The as keyword tells us, this is where the body of your stored procedure starts. Okay, and followed by the as, you have the begin and end. Inside the begin, this is your body. This is where you need to specify all your SQL stream, including your if condition, all the things you can specify it here. Okay. Okay, now we will jump into the Power BI desktop and we will take a look at the stored procedure, simple stored procedure. So we'll start with creating a stored procedure. Like I said, you need to, this is the reserved word. You have to specify this. If you want to create any stored procedure, it should start with create procedure. Okay. So, do I need to specify it in caps letter? Yes, it is good. Even if you specify in the smaller case, it will work. But from the readability point of view, better you can use the uppercase for all the reserved word. Okay. And let's, I wanted to say this, yeah, get all accounts. Okay, I just as this create procedure. Look here, in this case I did not specify the parameter name. Without parameter also you can, this is an optional thing. Okay, but usually we will be using parameter so that you can make your stored procedure more dynamic. For example, here I just say select simple one, select star from accounts. Now what I do is I just select everything, click on execute. Let's see, in case of any error, it will throw an error. So currently there are no error. Okay, I have created the stored procedure. So I said one word, right, about the feature. It is reusable. So, okay, how can I use it? Creating a stored procedure is not sufficient. How can I use it? You have a command called exec, or you can use execute. Okay. And here I just say the stored procedure name, get all accounts, followed by the execute. To use this, to call the stored procedure, you need to use the execute statement. Okay, this short form is exec. You don't have to use the entire thing. You can use exec. I just go and hit the execute button. This object all, okay, this I created a while back, right? So we need to execute this one. Look here. When I specify the storage procedure name, followed by the execute, what it does is the execute command, it executes or it calls this store, it invokes the stored procedure. So what happens is in the stored in the body, I mentioned select star from accounts, this query gets executed and it shows. It's a very simple stored procedure. Okay. And another thing, right? I just copy the paste in the interest of time. Another example is, yes, I want to add two numbers. Business logic. What is business logic? Can you give me a demo for how to use the parameter inside a variable, inside the stored procedure? Okay, I'm going to say A1 or num1 instead of A1. Let's give some meaningful name, num1. And here I just say integer variable. And at num2, I'm going to say integer. And here what I do is, here, because, in this case, I don't have any table. Without table also, you can use select statement. So how? Look here, num1 plus num2. at, you need to specify at num1 plus at num2 as okay, let it be there. First, let us create the store, because here we can see some kind of underlined one. This maybe sometimes, right, it will throw an error, but sometimes it will work. Look here, though it underlines this some red color, that doesn't mean it is an error. But there are situations, with this you can make out there are some syntax error. Okay, incorrect syntax create closure must be the only statement in the batch. Okay, so you can ignore certain things. Okay, now I created the stored with no error here. Okay, what I do is I just copy this. I need to use this. I need to call this stored closure. I need to use this closure, isn't it? Just buying a vehicle is not sufficient. You need to use it the same way. If I execute this simply like this, it will throw an error. So in this case, I simply specified the procedure name followed by the exit. It got executed. In this case, I did not use any parameter. Whereas here, I'm using a parameter here in num1, num2. What it says is the add numbers stored procedure or function, it expects parameter at num1 which was not supplied. In this case, you need to specify the value for these two. For example, you have 2, 4. So this 2, the first 2 will get copied to num1, the second one will get copied to num2. Okay. And this time, if you select this one and if you click on execute, look here, 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay. What is your question? Oh, you want to change this one? How the 2 gets copied? You see, followed by the stored procedure, if you specify the values in line with the parameter. For example, num1, you want to pass 2. For example, you want to pass 4 here, you need to specify 4 here. Okay. And num2, if you want to specify 2, you need to specify. But your question is there any way? Can I, okay, so for this, one solution is 2, you can specify it here. The default value you can specify here itself. But if you specify here, you don't have to, pass the value explicitly here. Okay, this stored procedure already exists. What you can do is, okay, for the sake of, we have something called alter. Okay. Okay, I think here also create or alter is available. I think so. Let me see. In Oracle, this is how it works. Yeah. So create or alter. So in this case, even though you create it once, when you execute it again, it will not throw an error saying that this exposure already created. Since you have mentioned alter or alter, this exposure, stored procedure, whatever change you made, it got altered. Now, if you execute this one, look here, 6. Here, you don't have to pass the value for your parameter. But if you do so, what will happen is it will become very static. Every time when you execute it, it will give 6 only. If you want to make it dynamic, don't assign it here. Now I just go ahead and execute it. And here, if I execute it, it will throw it. So this time, let's say I want to say 4 plus 124. Whatever the value you give, it should get added, right? That is the functionality of this stored procedure. Any number you give me. So now you understood when you pass values along with the stored procedure with for these parameters in the respective way, the 4 will get copied here and then 124 will get copied here. So it gives me this one. Sorry, this one 128. So 4 plus 124 is 128. This is the output you get it. If you want to change the for example, yeah, so you can specify something like num2. Is this what you want to do it, Sri? Num1 equal to 24. Is this what okay, what she wants to do is the first argument, for this purpose, is it possible for me to change the values for the parameter by doing something like in other language, right? let's 120, it is possible. In this case, the 4 gets copied to the num2, and then num1, right, 124 gets copied to the first one. Initially, the 4 got copied here and 124 were. Now, what happened? You can change the value. So since you mentioned 4 here, num2 you mentioned. Hey, 4 you need to assign to num2 and 124 you need to assign to num1. This is also possible. For the sake of you, I just four is num1, 124 is num2, but here I want to change it in different way, right? So can I specify the value for the second parameter first, and then change the order of the values for the parameter? That is possible, but you need to specify the parameter name followed by the you use for the equal sign, and then you specify. That is also possible. You can change the order of the parameter values like this. Okay, and what else? Yeah, this is the simple one. And next one is, I will just show you one other example. What we will do is, we will create a stored procedure wherein we can, yeah, let's say, okay. So this is from the theoretical point of view, and then from the academic point of view, you understood what is syntax and how you can invoke a stored procedure, how you can change the order of values for your parameter, right? So while executing the stored procedure, everything you've seen it. Now, in what scenario in real time? So what are the scenarios that we can use this stored procedure? For example, you want to find out the 5 number summary or something like that, okay? So in that kind of situation, you can use it. For example, you want to find out, let's I'm going to create a procedure, let's a 5 number summary or something, 5 number summary, okay? So whenever the users, they call the stored procedure, it should give them the 5 number summary, okay? Minimum balance, this is, I'm going to say, for the sake of thing, right, int, I just say max balance integer, and at average int. Here you need to specify the as keyword, and then the begin you need to specify the begin and end. You need to specify the body of your thing. So here what I do is, I'm going to declare some variable at okay, mbal, something like mbal is going to be money. Money is a decimal data type, right? So money, and probably, yeah, we can specify money here also instead of int, right? So money we can specify. Decimal also you can use it. Better, I'm going to use a money. So in the case of money data type, the decimal, you will have the 2 decimal values only, right? So here I'm going to say mbal, minimum bal. And so here I don't specify anything. And here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say select at mbal is equivalent to min of what is that? Here the balance, right? Min of balance. Select min of balance from your accounts table. So, no, okay. Let's leave it as it is. We want to just check the minimum balance, right? And fine. What other things we can do it? Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll try this one. Okay, and the next one is, I'm going to say end. Okay, same way you can find out the comma. You can say in a comma at max bal is equal to maximum balance, average balance. So that is the one can give you some 5-number summary like that. So first let us check whether this one works fine or not. Yes, it's working fine. And in this case, here, minimum bal money. Okay, here, yeah, first of all, here it is wrong. We don't have to declare anything here. Yeah, here or alter. In this case, it is not required, isn't it? Because we want to see the 5-number summary. And here, when I say execute the 5-number summary, since I did not use any parameter, it is, this one execute stored procedure balance, right? So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called the out function, out variable. We can also output the value that you store it here, okay? From yeah, this one. Okay, instead of this, I just I forgot to mention this one. Okay, so we can output the values also. Now output. See, in this case, what happened when I execute this one, the commands completed successfully because we are not passing any parameter, right? And here we are doing this, but this value should be returned, right? The mbal, whatever the value is there, mbal should get returned. That is not returning it here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use something called output. Before that, I just say output, the mbal. Okay, this is different. That is different. Anyhow, let it be there. This, okay. Let's say I say the result. I'll just say result, and here, I just say set. Here's something called set, and here what I do is yeah, at result equal to at mbal. But in this case, yeah, cannot find, okay, here this is a data type, right? So in specific data type, I did not money. Okay, money is a data type. That's why it was throwing an error. Not supplied, right? Summary, 5-number summary expects parameter S, which was not supplied. Money output. Here it is the output thing. Here what I do is I'm going to, instead of calling it in a typical way, I'm going to declare it here also. Declare the same thing. Okay, address money, not the output. Usually you specify the input parameter and the output parameter also you can specify it here. Okay, that is what I'm saying. Okay, sorry, not here in the declare. You need to specify it explicitly here and then followed by that. So this is after creation of the stored procedure. Okay, and the next one is yeah, the execute stored procedure. In this case, I'm going to use some at result is equal to 5-number summary. Okay, and here let us check why it is committed, and then this one I give it must declare scalar variable at rest. Scalar variable already we specified it here. Okay, and here it is slightly different. Okay, res output. You need to execute the stored procedure first, followed by that you need to say like this. Okay, yeah. So now res address. Let's say select address. as result, something like that. Okay. Yeah, you need to execute it everything together. Declare address money. Yeah, result equal to 0. Yeah, here set res imbalance, minimum balance. Let us check whether this one works fine. Now it works fine, but here result equal to yeah, that same thing, right? So result at result only I mentioned it here, set. So in this case, what happened? The minimum balance will be computed from the accounts table. That one will get stored here. So not now this value we need to output it from this when you execute the stored procedure. So what I did, I just put this on the right side here, and then I assign it back to the output variable res and set, right? You for that you need to use set to assign the value of this variable into another variable and then end it. Okay, this one works fine. But here declare address money and execute the 5-number summary address equal to, yeah, the res equal to res, right? This is the one. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll execute it everything together. Res has already been declared. Variable name must be unique within a query batch or okay, let me do one thing. I will just execute this. Or else why res? I just give some other name, res1, and then the address. No, this one also needs to be is the same thing, right? So same as that one. Okay, let me just check. Okay, 5-number res1. Here there's not a parameter for procedure 5-number summary. It says execute. Oh, this is the one you need to specify that one address. Okay, sorry, here address. If I specify address equal to res. Must declare the scalar variable address and message 137 level 15 state 2. Okay, there is a problem here. I see the same thing here. You need to execute these two things together, okay? So only then it will work. And here I execute it, must declare it. Okay, you need to execute, sorry, you need to execute these three things together. But here it shows 0, right? So there is, let us check the minimum balance from accounts. I think oh, correct, right? So in this one, the minimum balance is 0, right? It is showing correctly. That's what. Everything is correct. Everything is correct. Since we got 0, I got confused. The minimum balance was 0, right? Okay, we'll try with maximum balance. We have two, you remember, we have two accounts. In this case, maximum balance. We'll recreate it. And this time it will show the maximum variable name address name. Okay, so you need to execute it separately, not the balance. This is your stored procedure. So once you are done with that, you need to call. In this case, since we are using output, look here, the maximum service 1000. Sometimes it will confuse you because you might go by your intuition. Always don't go by your intuition. Select the, use the query here. Select max. Test it like this. Now you got it, right? How to troubleshoot, how to, even though my stored procedure has no error in it, no syntax error, nothing, but it was showing something wrong output. That's what I thought. After querying the table, we understood the reality, right? So it was 0 only. It was showing correctly. But only thing is, first you need to create the stored procedure, and then you need to, use these three statements together. Okay, you need to execute these three things together. This is a little bit different way of doing it. Okay, let's work on another simple example. Create procedure. For example, I want to calculate net salary. So we need to specify the parameter here at gross salary. In this case, I'm going to use decimal. Let's say 10,2. And next one is gross salary, and at least we have something called tax rate. Tax rate, even in this case, tax rate cannot be this big, right? Maybe 5,2, unless you get 10-figure salary. At deduction, we will use decimal 10,2. Okay, your question is how do I decide the size of, so this and all they will give you in the table. Sri, in the table, when they create the table, right, they specify the width, everything. You don't have to. See, in this case, I want to return the net salary value. Okay. I need to get the gross salary, tax rate, and deduction. So with this, I'm going to compute the net salary. Computed net salary will get stored in the output variable called at net salary. So these three are input variables. Okay, this is your output variable. Okay, as now what I do is to calculate the tax amount. First, we need to calculate the tax amount, right? So here I just say at tax amount, what is an amount? Okay, and decimal 10,2. Yes, I'll give you assignments. Don't worry. Okay, you can start work on the assignments. So any update on the assignments which I gave it already to you all? And at gross salary. In the gross salary, you need to multiply the tax rate. Okay, let's see the tax rate I already mentioned and divided by 100. Okay, that is the logic we use it. Next one is set. Yeah, the set is we want to return the net salary, right? So now the tax amount, this is the one calculated with this formula. The next line, what I do is I just say the gross salary minus at tax amount minus at deduction. Apart from tax amount, are there any other deduction like advance education loan, something like that in our organization we bought. So now let's go ahead and yeah, here I need to specify the comma here because we mentioned more than one parameter. And here I need to specify. That's the reason why the red line was there, underlined, right? There are some statements was underlined with the red color, but some cases end. Okay, here there is a error here. Net salary batch procedure incorrect near end. Okay, in the end, set statement, two set statements are there. Here I have the followed by the declare. I mentioned the semicolon, and here also the mention. Yeah, here mention everything is correct, right? Gross salary, tax rate divided by 100. Collect salary line 10, batch for start line 44. Okay, this batch starts here, correct? Create procedure name, gross salary. Comma 2, correct. Tax rate deduction and net salary. Up to this is correct. Yeah. There is a major mistake. Begin. I did not specify begin, right? You need to specify here also. See, sometimes the red line will not be there, right? Underline will not be. Begin, I did not specify at all. That's the problem. None of you watch this one. Look here, the calculate net salary. Next, how many values that we need to pass it to the stored procedure. So now the stored procedure is ready. The logic is ready. If I use this storage procedure for my 7 lakh employees in my company, for all the employees, the same formula is reused, right? It is reusable in this case. So you don't have to calculate the net salary for each and every employee. Instead, you can call the stored procedure, so that is enough. Now, how do we call the stored procedure? The same thing, execute calc net salary. Look here, you don't have to type this one, and followed by that, you need to specify the values for this thing, right? So the gross salary. So instead of specifying the values separately, gross salary is 1 lakh, and then the tax rate, I just say 20%. The second argument, and third argument is deduction. Let's say the deduction is let's say you are using Sodexo Pass in your company. They are giving Sodexo Pass 1,500 rupees. Okay, comma at net salary. Net salary is equivalent to, this is your output variable, right? So you need to store the output calculated by your stored procedure into variable. So here you need to store the output, return this value. Okay, and here I just say select at the rate net salary as net salary. This can be anything. Okay, they followed with as. Here you need to execute all the things together to get your must declare the scalar variable. Okay. Here I did not specify the scalar variable. So even before you call this, even though we have used this, we specified it inside the stored procedure, but before you call it, right, you need to declare this one, decimal data type for this. It gives me perfect, output, right? It gives me the correct thing, 78,500. So 20% of your tax is how much, right? So and plus the 1,500 minus this one, 78,000. Now my stored process is ready. So now you understood with this, right? So this one gets stored in your database. This is one of the advantages. And then this one will get compiled. In case of any syntax error, look here, we post some syntax error, right? Begin, I did not mention it. Blindly, I was executing it, and then I thought some other mistakes. And then when I went through this code line by line, the code snippet, right? Was able to figure it out, and then I fixed it. When I created it again, it was working fine. So it compiled everything. In case of any syntax, begin was missing, throw an error, right? It was throwing. But once you create it, by fixing all the issues, right? It is ready. You don't have to, make the mistakes again and again. For example, if you don't use a stored procedure, what will every day you need to execute the same thing? In case you do mistake, syntax mistake, copy paste, you may tend to make a mistake. You'll throw an error, right? So, but once you compile it and store it, it is error free. It's pre-compiled. Hence the performance will be faster. You can call the stored procedure as many times as you want. This is for first employee, second employee, third employee, whatever things, right? It goes and picks up automatically. Got it? So this is how you can use the same thing. You can use it for the stored function also. Okay. The same thing you can use it for the stored function. But only thing is, I just show you the stored function of the same thing here. Create instead of stored procedure, you need to use the create function. Okay. Here, create function, and here I just say calculate net salary. Or listen, I'm just saying. I just give the full name because it should not show the object already exists. Calculate And so followed by that, you need to use open and closed parentheses when it comes to the function. Okay, function is also same as your stored position in some extent, but there is a difference. I'll explain that little later. For example, here, what do you want to see it here? Let's say I want to get the gross salary. Here I'm going to change the logic a little bit, and then decimal. Let's say you get your gross salary. You want to get this is your input parameter, and then you need to specify something called return in the case of stored function. What is the data type it should return? Stored function, this is also called as a stored function. The stored function returns only one value. Okay, returns decimal. Sorry, this is returns, not the okay as. So followed by the as, whatever the thing that I use the same logic here also. Okay, and here you will use some different logic instead of copy pasting the same thing. So okay, what I'll do is I'll copy the same thing up to this, or else we'll try a little bit different. I'll just make it a little bit fast. Declare. So here you can declare some variable at the same thing, tax rate, decimal 5,2, and so in this case, we need to specify it separately. Declare, and I'm going to use some for you the exercise is you try the above by converting it as a stored procedure. Okay, that is the exercise for you all. Yes, you can watch my video, right? You can watch my video and practice it. See, if I share the script, see, scripts, everything got loaded in our website. Okay, the very first day we explained, right? So where you need to download the data set, the same place you can download everything. And now what we will do is, okay, instead of this, I will just use it a new query because already we have used the thing. That's the reason why it is throwing an error. And here I just say, let it be there. And for example, the logic is if the gross salary, see this many number of global variables are there. Double at is different from single at. Single at is the one which we are creating the variable, user defined variable. That one, whatever the double at prefixed with the variable which you say, that is your global variable. At let's know what the tax rate is. If those people getting salary less than 10,000, they get 0.10% of tax. And else if I'm going to use else if at gross salary is less than or equal to 1 lakh, those get this is 50,000, 1 lakh, right? Set tax rate. You can specify the slab like this 0.2, and else if simply using else if rest of them, right? In India, right? Rest of them only 2 slab, anything above this is supposed to pay 0.3%, 30% tax. Up to this kind of okay, but gross salary, it is correct only, right? So okay, and next one is here. What we'll do is, we will need to set at tax amount. We need to calculate this tax amount at gross salary. Only when you compute the gross salary, right? So tax amount, you need to compute tax amount. We have the gross, we need to supply the gross salary in this case, gross salary minus the tax amount. at tax amount. Anything wrong here in the syntax? Sorry, in the logic. Syntax, your new one. Return at net salary. So in the case of stored procedure, you need to specify the input parameter inside the parenthesis, open and closed parenthesis. Returns decimal. You want to return the decimal value, this data type. You need to specify the data type which you are going to return it. So in our case, the objective is you want to compute the net salary. The net salary is in decimal data type, and the width is something like this. Okay. And then what you need to do is you need to specify as, followed by the as, you need to specify the body. The body of this one should be specified inside your begin. Again, I made the mistake. Since I did not specify it, so I did not do it intentionally. Okay, let me see how many of you can watch it. In this case also you need to use begin. Okay, and then look here. Now there are no errors. Now I'm going to execute it. Now my stored procedure is ready. And the next question is, how do I call the stored procedure? How do I call the stored procedure? So in this case, you can use the select statement. Instead of execute, we use the select statement itself. And here the calculate salary. And let's say the gross salary is, let's say you are getting 1,25,000. 1,25,000. Yeah, so if you pass this one, no, here I think we need to specify the at symbol here. Yeah, here also you need to specify like that. Okay, so here I'm going to say declare something like that. Result, I just say decimal. You can, instead of using the stored procedure, you can, calling the SQL query, you can call it directly like this, calculate salary. Inside the parenthesis, you need to say 1,25,000. Okay. And here, next one is at select at result. In MySQL and Oracle, you can directly specify like that. I think it should be, that option should also be available here. So, okay, here you need to specify. This is one thing you need to remember. DBO, you need to specify it. Even if I specify this, it is calculate net salary, right? So calculate net salary. I just copy this and then probably I will paste it so that there should not be any syntax error. Arithmetic overflow error or converting numeric data type numeric. So here decimal 5,2 tax rate and tax amount. See here the tax amount, it should be more, right? Yeah, that is the problem. 18,2 here the net salary, it cannot be 5,2, right? Unmindfully I put it here. Also what you do is create or alter function. So instead of dropping the function and recreate it, I think the same syntax will work here. Let me check. Yeah, it is working fine. Now let us execute this one. Yes, cool. Now it's working fine. This is your stored procedure. Sorry, stored function. So in this case, what I did, I just specify the business logic like this. If those employees are getting less than 50,000, then 10% of the tax will be deducted. Those are getting 1 lakh and less than 1 lakh, 20% of tax will be deducted. And the rest of them, which means, people are getting more than this, they are, 30% will get deducted. So this one, net, the tax rate variable will hold the, this will hold the, the people's tax rate, right? So you need to subtract, you need to multiply the tax rate with your gross salary because that is the one you are passing it, right? And gross salary into tax rate, that the total tax amount will get stored here. The tax amount is subtracting gross salary, and end of the day, net salary. For example, as a payroll, let's say you are a payroll person, you don't know the ABCs of how to write a SQL query. Simply, if I give this one an executive, only thing is you need to replace the value here, right? If you specify 1,25,000, if you specify 50,000, if you specify whatever value that you specify, it will automatically calculate and give you the net salary. But you don't have to manually go and check, write this, this many logic as an end user. Simply, you can call this one. That's all. Got it? So this is how you can write a stored function. Stored function is also a reusable one. But what is now the question is, yes, she is asking this. What is the difference between stored procedure and stored function? Both of them get stored in your database once you create it. Reusability is possible with both. So in the stored procedure, we use it for performing actions like data manipulation, complex business logic. If you want to do it, you can do it. But the stored function, it returns only one value. The stored procedure returns more than one value. So in the output, you remember I specify output parameter, input parameter, output parameter, you can specify it. Here, there is nothing like output parameter. Instead, you have to use the return statement in your function. Okay. The function, the beginning of the function definition, you need to specify returns the data type of the function, followed by the parameter. But you can use more than one parameter. It's all input parameter. There's nothing called output parameter when it comes to stored function. But at the end of the stored procedure, right, you need to specify return which variable you want to return it, right? You can return only one value from your function. So followed by the return, if you put another return, it will not work. Once you specify return, it ends here itself. The execution will get, ends here itself. It will not go to the next line. That end is it will go to the next one, is it directly go to the end. If you specify another return, it will not execute that. As soon as it finds the return, it ends that one. If you put another return, it has no value. Simply the control will come to end, and then it will get executed. Okay, once you invoke like this, it will get executed. Okay, so the difference is you can return more than one value from your stored procedure. But a stored function, you can return only one value. You cannot return more than one value. Oh, okay. Your question is, can I concatenate the value and then can I return multiple values? So you can concatenate it. See, that one different, I think. Okay, let's understand the basic thing. Okay, the difference is stored function returns only one value, but stored procedure, you can return more than one value. You can use the execute statement to execute or call your stored function. Whereas in the case of stored function, you can specify something like that. You can specify the function name directly, followed by that, inside the parenthesis, you need to specify the value for your parameter. For example, if you have more than one parameter, you need to put comma, for the second parameter value, comma, third parameter value. So you need to specify the function value directly here. Here you don't have to use the execute statement. In the case of other differences, the stored procedure can be called independently from other stored procedures, triggers or application. You can do it. Okay, you can call it from other stored procedure also. You can nest the stored procedure and other stored procedure. Okay, in the case of stored function, you can use it in expression, column values, or you can use it as part of stored procedure also. You can create a function, stored function inside your stored procedure itself. You can embed this one, okay? Inside of stored procedure also, you can have the stored function. Okay, okay. Can I include a stored procedure inside function? Yes, that is also possible. Okay, you can create a stored procedure inside this one, and then you can you can create a function as part of stored procedure also. Both way it is possible. Okay, but only difference is the executing it, you need to specify the function name directly. In the case of stored procedure, you need to use the execute statement, exec or execute. Okay, and stored procedures, you have no specific return type. But in the case of stored function, you have well-defined return type. Okay, look here, you need to specify the return. If you don't specify this data type, it will not work. It will throw an error. You have well-defined return type here, whereas in the stored function, you don't have to specify any return type, but you can use the output variable. In the output variable, you can specify data type. Okay. But you can return more than one output as part of your stored procedure, unlike a stored function. That's all, guys. Now today's session I have covered the transaction control. What is transaction control statement? What is ACID property? And what is stored procedure? And what is stored function? We have seen it. Okay. And next to the trigger, what I will do is, we have enough time. Tomorrow night, I will complete the trigger part. And then we have importantly the CTE. CTE is very important, common table expression. That is available in SQL Server. Even Oracle, that is not available. I think the latest version to sustain the momentum, they would have also kept it this. And to my knowledge, when I worked with Oracle, there was nothing called CTE, but CTE is available with SQL Server. I think it should be available in the so CTE and trigger. We are left with this one. And what else? That's all. Analytical window functions, we covered almost everything. All the frequently used popular functions we have seen it. So tomorrow we are going to wrap up with this one, and followed by that, if you have time, I will show you the SSIS part tomorrow itself. Okay, tomorrow once we complete the SSIS also, the next thing is So what we'll do is we will have a discussion about the project. Okay, end-to-end project discussion. We'll have it. Any questions so far? Yes, a lot of things are there. I will give you assignments. You can work on the assignment. That with that assignment, you will build up your knowledge. Okay. But keep practice it. I covered comprehensively many things. Okay, though I covered one or two examples in this one. I